Hi, I'll try to make this quick so you can get to the coffee. So originally Sourav was supposed to give this talk, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. So I'm here instead. So I'm going to walk you through what Biopython has been up to in the last year, since the last BOSC. So Biopython is a collection of modules for biological computation, everything from file parsers to kind of database querying, TLM extractors. It's been pretty long running, so it's been around since 1999, and it's open source, freely available, and it has seen a steady increase in contributors since its inception, essentially. Over the past year, we have had 80 named contributors, of which more than 50 have been had their first contribution to Biopython, which is a great outcome. It's always great to have new developers. And I'll quickly walk you through the three releases that we have since the last BOSC. So 168 was published in last August. The biggest feature was probably the MMTF support for like new format for protein structures. The next release was in earlier this year, in April, and the defining feature was maybe the start of a relicensing plan. So Biopython has been licensed under the Biopython license agreement since its inception, so 1999, long time. But it's a custom license, so that's not ideal, of course. So we were looking at transitioning to one of the more standard licenses. And the license that essentially came closest to the original license was the 3-clause BSD license. So relicensing is, if everyone who's ever done that, it's a huge effort. So you have to essentially ask every contributor whether they're okay with relicensing their contributions and everything. So the approach we're taking is doing this file by file and essentially contacting everyone and asking whether they're okay with relicensing under the new license. And this seems to be working out quite okay. So essentially we will gradually relicense over the next couple of years. And new contributors are essentially asked to license their contributions under both licenses to make this easy. There are a couple of new features, of course, bug fixes, big new features, maybe the support for the Cellosaurus cell line database, support for math alignments, and a lot more. So the latest release was just 2 weeks ago, and the most visible change you could see on the title page as well. So we have a new logo, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. So essentially, just someone opened up a pull request with a new logo suggestion, and there was an active discussion around that, and people had suggestions, and the submitter modified the logo accordingly, and then kind of made a few sketches, and there was a voting process in the end, and this was the end result. So I think everyone's quite happy with that. And this also has the blessing from the Python Software Foundation, because it was, we essentially kind of leaning onto the original Python logo. So it was a question whether or not that is okay. But it is. New features include support for XMFA files. The usual kind of improvements. We dropped support for Python 3.3 to make our lives a bit easier. So these are the currently supported Python versions. Python 2.7 is the last 2.x release we support, and we plan to drop that by 2020, along with many other major Python packages. We also support PyPy and Jython, although that is deprecated. So the ongoing work includes the usual bug fixes. A lot of effort is put into improving our documentation, doc strings, enhancing the test suite, kind of enhance the coverage of the test suite, and of course style adherence is quite important. So to make the project approachable for new developers. We also automatically build packages in the wheel format now, which is quite nice. We started using continuous integration quite heavily, and like everyone else, we're using Travis CI, of course, and we're essentially doing style checks with build testing style checks. We include other services like AppVeyor, for example, for testing Windows packages, which is a very new feature. Automatic test coverage with CodeCuff. And there's a nice ecosystem of services out there that you can use. So in conclusion, we've had lots of new contributors. We had 3 new releases, which is nice. So the project keeps going. We have the usual challenge of kind of turning new contributors into recurrent contributors, of course. So hopefully we will do a good job with that. There's lots of new stuff in general, so just check out the release notes. And worked a lot on improving automation and pulling in all these different services for automatic checking. So that was a major focus. And there will be a new release in the near future, probably next couple of months. And with that, I would like to thank the general Biopython community, which is very nice. Peter as the project lead, of course, and the funders that made it possible for me to be here. And of course, all the services that we're using through Biopython. And there's a lot of resources. We have a website on biopython.org. Our main repository is on GitHub. Mailing list, there's a biostats category, so if you have any questions, there's a lot of resources available. Thank you very much.